Game 1 of the playoff series between the Indiana Fever and the Atlanta Dream was an outright disaster for the Fever. Nothing short of a nightmare painted in full color. From the very first whistle, it seemed as if the game was stacked against them. The referee's calls felt lopsided, the crowd energy leaned away from them, and their offense looked as if it had forgotten how to breathe. Shots that usually found the bottom of the net clanked against the rim with hollow thuds. Defensive lapses piled up. The team, which had shown so much promise throughout the season, suddenly looked rattled, unsure, and overwhelmed. Analysts, pundits, and fans alike, especially those rooting for rookie sensation Caitlin Clark, began turning away in disappointment. Sports networks quickly shifted the narrative, declaring Atlanta the superior team and predicting a swift end to Indiana's postseason run. Social media echoed the sentiment. The buzzword was sweep. For a moment, it seemed like all the hard work the Fever had put in throughout the season was going to be washed away in the glare of postseason pressure. But what no one expected, what few dared to even imagine, was that this loss would become the fuel for an incredible comeback story. Game 2 wasn't just a chance to even the series. For Indiana, it became a moment of reckoning, a test of character, resilience, and heart. As the team walked back into the Gainbridge Fieldhouse, this time in front of a roaring sellout crowd of hometown believers, the atmosphere had transformed. Doubt was replaced with hope. The Fever knew they had something to prove, not to the critics, not to the league, but to themselves. The energy was palpable. Fans who had once been skeptical were now screaming their support at the top of their lungs. The players felt it. You could see it in their body language and the fire in their eyes during warm-ups. And as the ball was tossed into the air to begin Game 2, it was clear this was not the same team that fell apart in Game 1. This team was alive, awake, and ready to fight. They were not just playing to survive, they were playing to remind everyone who they were. As the Fever took the floor, it was not with hesitation or fear, but with the intensity of a group of women who refused to be dismissed. What unfolded that night was not just a basketball game, but a battle of pride and purpose, where every rebound, every assist, and every basket echoed the spirit of redemption. From the opening tip of Game 2, the Indiana Fever established a tone that was nothing like the sluggish start in Game 1. Right away, Aaliyah Boston went to work in the post, asserting dominance against Atlanta's imposing front court. With her footwork sharp and her confidence restored, she made an early mark by sealing her defender and spinning into an aggressive move at the rim. But what really energized the crowd wasn't just Boston's scoring, it was the movement and awareness from the rest of the team. Lexie Hull made a smart cut through the lane, and Boston, recognizing the opportunity, dished a precision pass to set up an easy basket. This wasn't just offense, it was chemistry, grit, and synchronized belief. And with that bucket, the Fever signaled they were here not just to compete, but to take control. While Atlanta's Jordan Canada answered quickly with a tough drive at the rim, the Fever didn't flinch. Instead, they responded with sharp shooting, starting with Kelsey Mitchell, who pulled up with confidence and knocked down a triple off a smooth handoff from Howard. You could sense the rhythm building. They weren't forcing shots, they were reading the game, creating space, and feeding the hot hand. Even when possessions didn't end in buckets, the energy was right. Every cut had purpose, every screen had bite, and every missed shot came with a scramble for the offensive rebound. One sequence stood out early in the first quarter. After a missed three by Howard, it was Boston again who powered through a crowd, grabbing the board and finishing through contact. That basket plus the foul ignited the crowd and her teammates alike. That kind of effort was contagious. Even though some shots didn't fall, Kelsey Mitchell kept attacking. She nearly dropped a defender with a slick crossover that sent ripples through the crowd, and while the layup missed, as the second half tipped off inside the electric walls of Gainbridge Fieldhouse, it became clear that the Indiana Fever weren't going to let their slim lead slip away. Fueled by the home crowd's unrelenting energy, the team came out of the locker room with renewed urgency, and it was Kelsey Mitchell who ignited the spark. Using off-ball screens and precision footwork, she freed herself from defenders and splashed in a three-pointer from deep to open the third quarter. It wasn't just a scoring play, it was a message to Atlanta, we're not backing down. The Dream tried to counter, with Ryan Howard responding with a tough finish at the rim and then finding a teammate on a smart backdoor cut to trim the game to just one possession. But every time Atlanta looked ready to claw back, Indiana answered, this time through hustle and sheer determination. After a missed three by Mitchell, Natasha Howard crashed the offensive glass, fighting through defenders to keep the play alive. Though she missed the putback, it was Aaliyah Boston who sprinted in, ripped the ball away, and reset the possession. That hustle became contagious. On the next trip down, Mitchell fed Nylissa Smith on a quick slip screen, and Smith finished beautifully in traffic.
Then, Aaliyah Boston found herself wide open at the wing after the defense sagged off of her. She calmly set her feet and knocked down the mid-range jumper, pushing the lead back to double digits. The Fever were not just playing basketball, they were orchestrating a full-blown momentum shift. Shea Petty intercepted a pass on defense and immediately hit Mitchell in stride for a fast-break finish, despite Atlanta's defenders closing in. Mitchell then followed it up with another aggressive drive, finishing through contact and drawing the foul to cap off a 10-0 run. The Dream were on their heels, clearly rattled. Their offense grew stagnant, and the Fever's defense tightened its grip. Pick and rolls were cut off early, drives were met with resistance, and open shots were rare. The final quarter wasn't about holding on for the Indiana Fever, it was about finishing the job with authority. From the moment the ball was inbounded, Indiana showed no signs of letting Atlanta back in. Michaela Tempson opened the frame with a clinical post move, using her quick footwork and body control to spin around her defender and finish strong, drawing a foul in the process. That single play summed up the Fever's mindset in the fourth: aggressive, efficient, and completely locked in. The crowd, still buzzing from the third quarter fireworks, rose to their feet again. There was a sense that this wasn't just about tying the series, it was about making a statement. Aaliyah Boston took over on the next possession, lowering her shoulder and muscling past Big Bree for another tough bucket inside. The lead ballooned to 20 points, and Atlanta had no answers. Every possession felt like a dead end for the Dream. On defense, the Fever stayed disciplined, cutting off driving lanes and contesting every shot. And on offense, they moved with flow and urgency. Erica Wheeler got in on the action by knocking down a timely three, and then rewarded Natasha Howard for running the floor with a pinpoint bounce pass that led to an easy basket. The Fever were everywhere, rebounding,